Hey everyone, welcome back to the movie guys. I'm Mike, and welcome to my review of the new movie Black Bag.
Black bag.
Right. You asked how it works. To be with someone in this business, this is how. You each know what you know, and you know what you'll do, and you never discuss certain things again. I watch her, I assume she watches me. I would do anything for you.
Would you?
Black Bag is directed by director Steven Soderbergh. You might know him from movies like Unsane, The Informant, and many others. This movie is also written by David Koepp, who also did Jurassic Park, wrote Jurassic Park, and many others as well, especially the new Jurassic World Rebirth coming out later this year. But his resume is long, especially working with Spielberg. So I got a chance to check out a press screening of this on Tuesday night. I didn't really quite know what to expect from it. I saw a couple little TV spots here and there. I knew it was a spy thriller. I knew it starred Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. But outside of that, I didn't really know much of the story. So I kind of went in rather blind, not really knowing what to expect from it. Where to start? So I'm going to get this out of the way right away. The movie does start off a little bit slow. And I wasn't sure with it being a 90-minute film where exactly this was going, because we were about 20 minutes into it, and I really wasn't sure what to gather from it. The first 25 minutes is rather talky. There's a lot of getting to know the characters. You have Fassbender's George, Cate Blanchett's Catherine, Marissa Abella's Clarissa, Tom Burke's Freddie, Naomi Harris's Zoe. Those are your main characters, and we get to know these characters at a dinner that Fassbender and Blanchett's characters are holding. They're a married couple. They all work, I believe it's MI6, because this is the UK. We're not in the US here, so I think it's MI6. And it's getting to know each character individually, but as it was going on in this conversation, when it first got really talky, I wasn't exactly sure how I was feeling about it until we got to the point of the end of the dinner, where I started to see a little bit of the direction that this was heading and how this film was going to play out as a whole.
If a situation presents itself, would you choose your marriage over everything else?
My devotion to my marriage is my professional weakness. Love you.
I'm surprisingly going to say that I actually thought Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett in this movie were actually just mediocre. I didn't actually think that they stood out too well. For Fassbender really being the true lead of this film, Cate Blanchett is really held to the background. We really don't see her that much. We don't even see George and Catherine, being a married couple and seeing how strong they are, really interact that much to really see how well the foundation of the relationship works. But it's really not what the film is about. It is, but it isn't. It's about the conspiracy going on that's basically trying to it looks like frame Catherine, or it looks like it's that she's up to no good. We're not really sure what to expect. George thinks that Catherine may be keeping secrets. Then we start to find out later that maybe there's something more going on, that maybe she's being tricked to what's going on. We don't really know. And then in the spy thriller form, it works because it keeps me guessing until the last 20 minutes of the film, really trying to figure out what's going on. But it really gets me that we don't see much of them as a married couple, and it was shocking to see Cate Blanchett kind of held to the background here. And sadly, these two don't really have a lot of chemistry, because at the end of the day, they don't share a lot of screen time together. We hear more about how great of a married couple they are through other characters, and it's kind of upsetting that we don't get to see how well that relationship really works, because I think it is the true foundation of it. But don't let that misrepresent that I didn't like this movie, because what the film actually does, I started to like little aspects of it as the film went along.
You got a breach. What did you do? One of our people stole something.
Something extremely valuable.
You cannot imagine the damage.
There's not much action in the film, and that kind of surprised me considering it's a spy thriller. But then again, with it being a Steven Soderbergh movie, that's not too surprising, because when you look at a lot of his films, there's not usually a lot of action. If you look at Solaris, and you look at Unsane, and you look at The Informant, they're not action-filled movies. Unsane was a little bit more of a thriller, and it didn't really need the action, and I actually liked Unsane a lot. But his films are not known to have a lot of action, so I don't really know how he is with staging action, so I've never really seen him do it. So it's not really a surprise, but it doesn't hurt the film. There's not a lot of action in it, but you have to be very patient with the fact that it's very talky, and you really have to pay attention to the dialogue and the events that are happening around the dialogue, especially all the characters. The one character slash actress that really steals this film is Marissa Abella. I love her character in the HBO series Industry. She's fantastic in that. If you have not seen it, check it out. She is fantastic in that. I am waiting for her to get some Emmy recognition for that series because she's fantastic. I love that character, and she brings kind of a little bit of the sense of humor to the film. She gets some great one-liners. Her interactions with Fassbender really had me laughing, enjoying it. And anytime she was on screen, I found myself enjoying the film even more so. So if there's one actor slash actress that I could take away from this film that I really enjoyed, it's her. I think she is by far the best character in the film. I think she's given the most fun stuff to do, and her character is actually very central to the plot and the interactions with George and the rest of the group.
Find the leak.
How long do you think you'll need? Give me 2 weeks.
The core group here of George, Catherine, Clarissa, Freddie, and Zoe, they have a good foundation. I like the fact that these characters work well together. Naomi Harris, I have to shout out to too, because everything I see her in, she's also fantastic. Anything from Moneypenny in the Daniel Craig Bond films to Pirates of the Caribbean sequels, she always has a way of stealing scenes with actors on screen with her, and she just has a way of acting that just kind of captures you, very alluring. And she's no slouch here either. She probably is easily the second character behind Marissa Abella that steals the movie. It's very much a female character stolen film here, because I think the female actors are a lot stronger here than the male actors. And it's kind of surprising too, because Michael Fassbender is supposed to be the true lead of this film, but I feel like that he's been better in so many other films that he just kind of, in this film, just kind of feels like, I don't want to say going through the motions, but there's nothing truly special about his performance in this film. I think it's the secondary characters that actually are more engaging in the film and more interesting than his character. And it just goes back to the fact that we don't get to see more of George and Catherine's marriage. And I think that's the one thing I can truly knock the film for, because a lot of what makes the final act work and the whole story is really about the strong relationship those two have. And without really truly seeing it, it's kind of the one thing that brings the film down as a whole. But at the same time, you don't lose being engaged by the story and what the story ends up being. We don't get a lot of Pierce Brosnan in the film, which shocked me, because I actually thought, based on the poster and the trailers, we were going to get more from him. But he's really not in it much. I'd say Pierce Brosnan's only in it maybe about a good solid 20 to 25 minutes of this film, maybe even less than that. But it's kind of cool to see him in this, because, you know, seeing him in Bond films for so long, I mean, he's still my favorite James Bond. I know a lot of people will say, you know, what about Daniel Craig and stuff like that? I love Daniel Craig, but Pierce Brosnan's the James Bond that I grew up with, so Pierce Brosnan will always be my definitive James Bond. So just seeing him in this film playing the small role that he did, I thought was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed his role.
Thousands of innocent people will die.
Okay, 1 week. Who's the suspect?
Your wife.
All right, the good and bad of this film real quick. It shouldn't take me too long to get through these, but the good. The secondary characters is the real meat and potatoes of the film. Marissa Abella and Naomi Harris, they steal this film. Marissa Abella, in particular, she is just fantastic in it. The secondary characters, what makes this film go from decent to good. I think that the secondary characters, what makes this a fairly decent film. And it's not very often where secondary characters can steal a film from Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett, because they're both fantastic. But in this film, the secondary characters do steal the film from both of them. They are what makes this movie work as a whole. The bad, like I said before also, the George and Catherine relationship not being developed more, not seeing them more together. I think that could have been developed a little bit better. Also, as well, I want to point out that considering Steven Soderbergh has a reputation of doing these movies that are very, he has a certain style of doing things, I didn't feel like that this film really showed off his usual style. It just felt like a typical spy thriller the way it was filmed and shot. There was nothing like in particularly special about what made it unique to him. So that was a little disappointing as well because I kind of expected something more unique to him, and we really didn't get that here. It doesn't hurt the film, but it's just kind of surprising coming from Steven Soderbergh. So, in conclusion, I give Black Bag.
I don't like liars.
If it is Catherine, do you really think you can do it?
I don't know.
Maybe this is all your greatest game, George.
It's a very dangerous line of work.
I'll say.
Would you kill for me, George? Would you?
A 7 out of 10. All right, so that's what I thought of Black Bag. It comes out this Friday, so be sure to check it out if you like spy thrillers. But all in all, I recommend checking it out if you want to get a few laughs, enjoy spy thrillers, are okay with talkie films. If you're not really an action movie kind of person, this movie will be right up your alley because there's not really any action sequences at all. It's very talky. You got to pay attention to it. But on the whole, it's a good little spy thriller that will definitely keep you interested and engaged until the movie finishes. It's 90 minutes, so it's a quick 90 minutes. It doesn't overstay its welcome, so that's always a good thing too as well for a kind of film like this. So coming up, a lot of good stuff coming up. Summer movie season's coming fast. Moving really fast, actually. So there'll be a lot of reviews coming up from me here soon. More 4K Blu-ray unboxings. Be on lookout for those as more releases come out too. I'll also be doing my summer movie season preview video coming out in the next 2 to 3 weeks, where I'll be previewing my thoughts on what movies this summer that I think might be good, which ones might be bad, which ones might do really well at the box office, ones that might bomb. So be on the lookout for that in the next couple weeks, and I break that down. Make sure to follow me again on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube for updates on more videos, reviews, unboxings, and so much more. I really appreciate the support, so continue to follow, continue to comment. I would love to do maybe some retro reviews as well, so please request those, and I'd be happy to do them. So thanks for joining me on this review of Black Bag, and I will see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.